Ink-a-dink, 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 ink-a-dink. Wow!
We did. We already did. Okay. You know, I'll tell the audience about that, about the show later on tonight and the show on Sunday in the morning. But you know, we don't need the football, so.
We don't need the football. There's a Super Bowl coming up, isn't there?
Well, see, Basil's already done his well, he didn't do a Super Bowl show because you can't say Super Bowl on TV, even though I just did. But he does a Superb Owl. He borrowed that. Actually gave it to Colbert to begin with and borrowed it back. But tonight at 10 p.m., Basil's doing his first of 2 Superb Owl broadcasts in advance of the big game on Sunday. And Basil knows who's going to win, and you have to watch to figure that out, to find out, because he's going to deliver the goods to you to use with your bookie on Sunday.
So he has predictions.
Oh my God, yes. He's done predictions before. A couple of years ago, he predicted in the NCAA basketball championships, he predicted every single winner of every game except one. Wow. So if you double down all the way to almost the very end, when the Florida Gators lost, Basil had them picked. They lost. So if you double down all the way to there, you lost a lot of the money that you gained. But other than that, he got it. That's one of the years that UConn won, by the way. So Basil actually predicted the Huskies winning over a Cat team,
wow,
the Kentucky Wildcats.
No kidding.
So kudos to him on that.
He actually predicted against the Cat team.
Yeah, well, he had an inside source because apparently Basil's got a direct line to the Pope's cat, Pope Francis's cat, who's also named Basil. Oh, matter of fact, he's here. Look. Okay. This is Pope Francis's cat, Basil.
What do you know? And
there have been 6 popes that have had cats, house cats, along the way, and every one of them has been named Basil. So,
amazing.
But so Basil's pretty good at predicting. He got this is his 3rd Super Bowl.
Is he actually going to predict against the Panthers? I mean, they're cats.
I can't tell you.
You can't say?
You won't know till Sunday morning.
You got the Broncos and the Panthers.
Sunday morning, 10 a.m., Basil's doing his day of the game, big Superb Owl broadcast, and he's going to make the prediction, and then you guys can all call up your bookies and make the bets, because Basil's got that inside track on knowing exactly who's going to win.
Hey, let me compliment you on that tie.
Well, yeah. I see Basil looking at you, and he's got this perplexed look on his face, like, what the heck?
Like you're talking to somebody, maybe?
What it is, you know what it is cats really only see red well. Okay, here you go.
Oh,
there you go, Basil. Joe's going to put the tie on.
This will put me into focus as far as he's concerned. Right now,
Joe Niola, our guest, is going to put the tie on as we talk. And so Basil will be able to see him, and then Basil will know that there's more than just me here. Okay, right. See now it's hanging around his neck, so you got the hang of it now.
Yeah.
Basil's okay.
I'll give him a nice Windsor knot. I haven't made one of those in years.
Okay, Basil said I wondered where that voice was coming from. Okay, well now you know.
Yeah.
Now you know.
There you go.
Joe's here. Okay, so with your permission, and it's got some nice whiskers on it too. You know, this is an official Wilson NFL football, made in China, unfortunately, and it's got some nice whiskers on it that you can kind of grip the ball. And by the way, we're done talking about football, Basil? He said, okay. He said,
Has he said anything about the quarterbacks?
He will. Said, yep. Okay, there we go. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a little bit of focusing on the upcoming elections, the upcoming primaries in advance of the upcoming elections. And Basil just told me a few minutes ago before we came on the air that he got the word from the latest and apparently greatest Quinnipiac national poll. And just came in. Quinnipiac became the first polling organization, and they're usually ahead of the curve on a lot of these things, that on their national poll for the Democratic presidential candidate this year, 2016, we're up to Clinton 44%, Sanders 42%. So
whoa, that's crazy.
So we're trending upward. We're doing pretty well. We took the other candidate and basically in a flat-foot tie on, well, in her case, pumps, but otherwise in a flat-foot tie in Iowa. And we're looking to do pretty well in New Hampshire. Bernie is ahead by a fairly substantial margin in all the polls that have come out for New Hampshire, which comes up on Tuesday. We're trending upward in Nevada, trending upward in South Carolina. And after then, Super Tuesday, March 1st, we're trending upward in all those states. So looking pretty good.
Is Basil, I mean, is he in line with this here scoop? I mean, you know, with the predictions and everything, has he tuned into you on any of that yet?
He's not making any predictions yet because he's got it. Well, you got the Pope's cat Basil here now, Baz. Maybe you can have a chat after the show, and then in a future show we can do a little bit more fine-tuning. But I'm not sure even if the Pope and his cat, his house cat Basil, are tuned that far into the future. Might be.
Well, you know, the Pope is an interesting character. He is infallible, but on faith and morals, so I guess we're not going to get much out of him on politics. But you never know. I mean, sometimes the cat's out of the bag.
You're right. Sometimes. But the Pope understands that everything in life is political. I mean, there's a political element to everything, and so I'm sure he'll be thinking about who he thinks and he'll be praying to God to see as the next president of the United States. Seems to be pretty satisfied with President Obama. He's fairly satisfied with him because President Obama has talked about helping the poor and giving the poor an even shake. He's talked about climate change, which the Pope is very much in tune with, and the
Pope is really one. He's really quite a fella.
He's been voted the best Pope ever, by the way.
Listen, I mean, he had an interview with was it Rouhani of Iran?
Mm-hmm.
He's not afraid to talk with people, and it went really well. And I don't know if he has already met with him, but he's going to be meeting with the Orthodox, the Greek Orthodox Church that was in schism with the Roman Church for I don't know how many years.
Oh my gosh,
that's he's going to actually
maybe hundreds of years now.
So there's a man for our times.
Well, you have to talk to people that you don't necessarily agree to, and we saw that early on in this primary season. Well, actually, over the summertime, before we got close to the first primary in Iowa, we saw what?
Well, we saw
Basil said, I'll translate now, said, when are you going to give me a chance to talk? I mean, it's my show, so, I should be the one doing most of the talking. And could you guys direct some questions my way and let me chime in on some of this stuff?
I got a question. I got a question.
Okay.
What about this Bernie Sanders, Hillary Clinton race? Come on, Basil. Can you give us some ideas what's going on, in the cat world?
Well, there is in fact, it's facetious, of course, but there's actually a candidate that you can look up. You can Google on whatever search engine you use, a cat for president candidate, Limberbutt 2016, Limberbutt 2016. It's facetious, of course, but it's a cat.
Remember, Bud,
a cat candidate for president.
Is that a cat or a penguin?
Cat.
It's a cat.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Wasn't there a penguin with a name similar to that?
Might be. Okay. Oh, okay. Basil said, meow. Said, enough. You guys need to be asking me questions and talking to me and letting me answer. So, okay. So what we have to do? Would that make you happier if we talked to you? Okay, he answered, meow, 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 brr, meow.
Sounds agreeable.
Meow, 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 meow.
It's amazing that you got his language down. So you actually understand all that cat stuff.
Well, he said, yep. Okay, so also we've got a neat little device here that well, we call it an iPad, I guess. I guess that's what it's known as. But Basil's is an iPaw, and it's got a cat, English to cat translator, and that helps him out. Now, of course, he's okay. That's
We'll get one of those. I can learn the language.
That just translated what I just said. Okay. So Basil's been tinkering with the idea of ditching me as a co-host. I'm his co-host, interpreter, and chief gopher. And he's thinking that if he can get this iPaw working properly, then he won't need me anymore. So occasionally on the show lately, it's been known to disappear.
That's a pretty slick establishment technique.
Okay.
Get the technology and lose the employee.
Yep. Okay. That's what I just said. In cat. And also, that was a two-part remark. Okay. What you just said was, there you go.
Well, we agree.
Okay. So we've been doing this. We started off 6 years ago, and we graduated into doing we got some corporate sponsors, and Basil says, he says you got to have the cha-ching. I mean, that's you got to get the cashola coming in to help pay for these things. The studio time's free. Cameras are all free. Everything's free. We're all free. We all work for nothing, pretty much. But somehow or other, Basil needs to have some of that cha-ching. So we started off. We had one of our first corporate sponsors early on was not A&W root beer, but Basil added an extra letter in the front of that, the letter P.
Paw.
P-A-N-W root beer.
Paw.
There you go.
Yes.
And the tagline was, it's that extra letter that gives it its special flavor.
Right.
So I'm not really quite sure what he means by that, but he said if you want to know for sure, if you want proof positive that Basil's favorite beverage is P-A-N-W root beer, just stroll past his litter pan. And likewise, we had I don't know. We don't have any here with us today because they ditched us because I guess they didn't like the way we spoke about them. But we had the account for Hershey's Kisses.
Hershey's Kisses. That's chocolate. How can you go wrong with that?
There you go. And that was Basil's favorite candy. But Basil's tagline on that one was, "How do you know that Hershey's Kisses are Basil's favorite candy?" And again, it was just look in his litter pan.
Wow, he's got some sense of humor, doesn't he?
He does. He does. So eventually we lost the Hershey account. We lost the.
He's too down to earth.
The PA&W account. We had Abbott Labs, and we had a bottle of hand lotion from Abbott Labs, and apparently we had a bad habit of on Sunday morning occasionally calling into Abbott Labs in Illinois because the bottle we had said 25% more on the bottle. And so we would call in and we'd ask them the innocent question, 25% more what? And I guess they got a little annoyed at us finally, so they pulled that account on us. So, hold on. Okay. I'm seeing if Walter, Basil's nephew, Walter BuddhaCat, accompanied us to the studio. Now, Walter is named Walter BuddhaCat on account of the fact that Walter is, in fact, a forest cat, which is similar to a Maine Coon. in that they're
Maine
big.
Coon.
Yeah, they're big and fluffy, and
okay.
difference being that forest cats have the ability to not only climb down from trees. Regular cats pivot around and go down backwards down a tree.
Oh.
But a forest cat can go down a tree head first. Their claws are designed so they can actually go down a tree head first, and that's kind of a special thing about him. I guess Walter has a 40-second work week. Walter does the dusting in our studio at home, but apparently
Walter has the tail for it, doesn't he?
Oh my God, yeah. And here's the quirky thing about Walter. Walter's a she.
Walter's a she.
Well, we got Walter when she was about 4 months old. And apparently, cats, I don't know if we could say this on television, but apparently cats' genitalia, at least the male ones,
I think you can say that.
Don't descend. Well,
if you haven't, you already did.
I just did. So, yeah. The genitalia doesn't descend sometimes till they're about 6 months old.
Ooh.
So by the time Walter was 6 months old, we came to the conclusion that Walter was not a boy.
Right.
So, but the name was there. She was Walter, so we weren't going to confuse her and change her name.
That's interesting. So with cats, you got a whole mystery period there.
Yeah. Well, sometimes we call her Waltress because that's sort of the female equivalent of Walter. So we also have with us. Look, we have with us tonight. This is Basil's mate. Well, it's Basil's mate, as you saw in the opening credits, Lilith, tail included, free of charge, was Basil's mate, a big, kind of a big fluffy calico cat. And Lilith passed away a couple years ago. And miraculously, on a Sunday morning religious broadcast, the calico cat returned to us as a calico stone. So, but we talk with Lilith periodically from the hereafter.
And this you got straight from the cat's mouth.
Absolutely, and I guess that's the tail. I'm not sure, but I think that's the tail.
It's amazing.
It's a little hard to tell, but
yeah, you got to use your imagination. I can see how these things can occur.
So and Lilith Tail Included Free of Charge also has a Facebook page, as does Walter Forest Cat. Walter Forest Cat's being Walter Forest Cat. Lilith Tail Included Free of Charge, and we also.
Well, I mean, Facebook for the top cats makes sense to me.
Hell yeah. So we also have another cat in the last year or so, a black and white, very sleek-looking young fellow named, he came as Sa because that was his Chinese name. We got him from good friends of ours who were Chinese, and he came with the name Sa.
Sa, like S-A?
Yeah, exactly, yep. So along the way, we decided that he looked a little bit more like the Penguin in the Batman movies. So if you follow the Batman movies, you know that the Penguin's real character name is Oswald Cobblepot.
Oh, that's what I got. Oh,
you can look that up. It's Oswald Cobblepot. So Oswald Cobblepot. I mean, there were like 6 million Facebook pages.
No, he had an odd name.
Yeah, there were 6 million Facebook pages that were variations of Oswald Cobblepot. So we had to come up with a new one, but it's Oswald's out there. He's on Facebook in some variation of maybe it's Ozzy Oswald Cobblepot or something like that. But he's out there on Facebook. So here we go. We're going to do what, Basil? Okay. Okay, Basil said. We're supposed to be talking about the Republican presidential candidates in the primaries.
Oh, is he a Republican or is he a Democrat or is he just
cat?
He's a cat.
Cat.
He's a cat.
He's a cat. So he's got his own method of doing things. I can
see him being influenced by the Republican debate. I mean, those guys have been up there. They've gotten a lot of viewing time.
He has, and we keep getting annoyed. And Basil keeps getting annoyed by. Look at that. He's there. Hold on. He's been looking at me like somebody's bothering him. Somebody's scratching the back of his head. And
whoa! Look at that cat! Whoa!
Look at that! It's Donald Trump.
Whoa! He's got the Trumpster. That's on his mind. The Trumpster's on his mind.
Well, he keeps calling us in, and undoubtedly he'll keep calling us in during the show because he's very annoying. Almost like we planned it. Now on the phones, the Cat in the Hat phone is for really important callers. The The Nickelodeon phone is for moderately important callers. The Inky Dinky phone, also known as my cell phone, is for not that important callers. But somewhere on the table here, we've got a micro Inky Dinky phone that, there it is. Okay, hold on. Hello? Yeah, Basil, it's Donald Trump. And we talk about Donald Trump, and we use the Scrabble board a lot on the show. We don't have it with us tonight, but we use the Scrabble board a lot. And we took the letters in Donald Trump. Oh, he hung up already. He'll be back, though. We take the letters in Donald Trump, and we come up with Old Dump Rant. Because he does rant a lot.
He does, yeah, he
does. His Old Dump Rant seemed to be a very appropriate way to rearrange the letters in Donald Trump. And we've been bothered on occasion also. Well, the cats call and never bother us. No, he's gone. He'll be back. And Donald Trump has 12 cats.
It's 12.
And every one of them is named Whitey.
Really?
Every single one of them.
Boy, when he calls one, who knows who's being called?
Some of them aren't even white, but he likes the name Whitey, apparently. It's sort of like George Foreman with he had like 8 kids, and every one of them was named George.
Wow.
Donald Trump is kind of the same way. He likes the name. He likes Whitey, so he
keep it all simple.
Maybe he's got an apartment complex. Because he had the different apartment complexes in New York during the 70s, and he got in a little trouble with the Justice Department because apparently he had a condo apartment complex that he steered his black renters to. He had an apartment complex that he steered his Jewish customers, rental customers to. And he had the upscale one that he steered all of his white renters to. And he got in a little trouble with that because he got caught steering people, and it violates federal law.
Sounds like a little segregationist opportunity.
Yeah, well, that's kind of where he's been. He learned it from his dad, and his dad apparently learned it from who the hell knows? Maybe
segregation in
Satan,
real estate.
Maybe.
It's not an uncommon thing.
Not at all. Not even in New York City. I mean, you had that, and that's why the civil rights laws came into effect, and why housing laws came in, and people, you couldn't steer people according to their ethnic background. You had to rent to them according. Simply, you couldn't see black or white or yellow or any of the other colors of humanity.
You couldn't discriminate.
You could only see the color green. Money talked. What people could afford to pay was what you had to show them, was what you had to find the best place for them based on their economic background. So Donald will be back, I'm sure he will. But we're also probably going to get some reach out from. We can't apparently get Marco Rubio on because he's.
Why not? Why can't we get Marco Rubio on?
He's just too darn cute.
Really?
He's just too darn cute. He's a cover boy. He's the young cover boy of the Republican Party.
This mystifies me. I mean, you got Cruz #1, Trump #2,
yeah.
Rubio #3. You think Rubio is #1 by the way they're talking?
Oh, in Iowa, yeah, he came in third, and they were talking about him as that. Well, who won? Well, Marco Rubio won because he came. He's trending upward, and he ended up third.
I guess he's one of those establishment politicians, and because he's the establishment politician, and we have the establishment media, and we have the establishment money, I guess they're all kind of in cahoots, and they want to get their establishment man up and running.
All the Republicans, in fact, actually think, well, Jeb Bush defines himself as being establishment. I guess Chris Christie's kind of defines himself as being
established. He's Barbara Bush's son. How can he not be established?
Yeah, that's true. But Rubio defines himself as being an outsider.
Rubio's an outsider?
An outsider. He wants people to know that he's an outsider.
He is.
And where we haven't gotten him on the show, we got his grandfather on. Because his grandfather, whose name is Rubio del Rubio, he's called us up because he's annoyed. Because Marco Rubio, when he won his Senate seat from Florida, his narrative was that his parents came here from Cuba to escape to escape Castro and communism. Turns out, as it were, that his parents came here about 5 years before Castro even thought about the revolution.
It's amazing, isn't it? Something what they can say and get away with.
So they really,
did you get this info from Basil?
No, I read it.
Oh, okay.
It's out there. You can read up on Marco Rubio. Okay, another outside candidate, and I'm sure we'll hear from him probably during the show, time permitting, is Ted Cruz. Or maybe we'll hear now Ted Cruz, who was born in Canada of American mother, is therefore by law an American citizen. He's a naturalized American citizen because one of his parents was an American citizen when he was born. So regardless of where he was born, John McCain, same thing. John McCain was born in the Canal Zone, but because his parents were American, he's a naturalized American citizen. Barry Goldwater, who ran for president back in 1964, when he was born, Arizona was not a state yet. It was a territory. But regardless, he was considered an American citizen.
Oh, that's a stretch.
And was able to run for president.
That's a stretch.
Well, think about it in the beginning.
It was a territory, wasn't a state.
Yeah. In the beginning, there were no people in America, really, in fact, above the age of 35 that had been born in America. Washington wasn't born in America. He was born in the colonies. So they had to make an exception early on. They had to make exceptions for people to run for president that weren't naturalized or native-born American citizens. So Ted Cruz.
Well, just to clarify that, I mean, a naturalized citizen, you cannot run for president. Is that correct?
You can be a naturalized citizen.
You can be a naturalized citizen, and you can also be a born American, and you could. And like Barack Obama, he was born in Hawaii. Is that correct?
Correct. Yep.
And Hawaii was a state at the time, and I think there was some controversy over the fact that he wasn't born in the United States.
Yeah,
that's kind of insane.
Apparently, there's still something like, and it sort of matches up with the percentage of Republicans that like Donald Trump. Number one, about 30% of Republicans in America still hold to the notion that the President Obama, A, was not born in America, and B, is a Muslim.
Oh, he's a Muslim.
Yeah, they hold fast to that.
What about that cleric that was giving him such a hard time? That Christian cleric that was just so out of line.
Oh,
it was almost an embarrassment to him.
Oh,
because he went to his church.
Yeah.
Imagine that. Okay, was the cleric upset because he?
Oh yeah, he was the pastor in Obama's church.
Right.
And
so Obama's putting up with this pastor, and he's a Muslim. It doesn't make sense to me.
He wasn't. No, he was a Christian.
Of course, he was a Christian.
Oh, okay. Okay. I understand what you're saying. Yeah. So apparently, when someone's running for president, everybody goes looking for things to throw at him.
Well, I mean, what a silly thing to hang your hat on. I mean, if he's going to go after Cruz, go after Cruz for what Cruz is. You know, he's
what he stands for exactly.
He stands for the Koch brothers.
Yep.
Okay, the Koch brothers is big money.
Well, we might get a call in from Cruz's cat, possibly. His cat's name is Canadian Anna. Because he renounced his Canadian citizenship earlier this year, but he is Canadian. So
well, wait a minute. Does he have a dual citizenship?
Yeah, and he revoked. He gave up his Canadian citizenship because he didn't want anybody to be confused that he had anything to do with that crazy country to the north of us.
Really?
Where they have universal health care,
yeah,
and all the other great socialist things that so many countries have. Socialist ideas like health care for all that God willing one day we'll have here in America.
Amazing, huh? Here he is, a Canadian defector.
Yeah.
And he's running for president.
Okay, so we probably won't hear in from Rand Paul. We've had conversations with Rand Paul earlier in the year, but Rand Paul he's dropped out, so we probably won't be hearing from either Rand or his house cat Curly Locks. So not likely we'll hear from them. Likewise, Mike Huckabee, probably won't hear from Mike Huckabee because he's
out.
He's dropped out of the race. Will we hear from Mike Huckabee's house cat? Nope. Probably nope. So Jeb Bush, the presumptive Republican candidate from a year ago, who didn't fare too well in Iowa, and everybody seems to be writing off. His house cat's name is GW Albatross, and I guess the GW is for his brother George W. Bush.
Oh, you know,
who's
like
sort of an albatross around his neck.
Yeah.
Everybody remembers
Right.
that Bush, and is kind of not interested in having another Bush in the White House.
Yeah, it's a shame he's got this albatross around his neck.
So now, also on the Republican side, we have Chris Christie.
Ooh.
And you wonder, how in the world can a guy with Christ in his last name, Christ is part of his last name, how could he not be golden in the Republican Party? But for some reason, he thinks he's going to do pretty well in New Hampshire, and he'll probably do better than the minus 10% he got in Iowa. He didn't do too well out there. But we might hear from him, might hear from his cat. His cat's name is Screamer. I don't know why. Maybe, I don't know.
We can.
On the other side of the spectrum, on the other side of the equation, you've got a candidate by the name of Ben Carson, who's a famed neurosurgeon. And nobody's exactly figured out what he talks about because he talks sotto voce.
He does. He's got
very soft. Talks a very soft voice, and because of that, his house cat's name is Whisper.
Whisper.
Mm-hmm.
Hey.
Yep. Okay. Going down the list now, we also have.
Boy, there's an awful lot of them. Unbelievable.
I think there were 174 candidates on the Republican in the Republican caucuses in Iowa, and that's winnowed down a little bit now. But we had Carly Fiorina.
Carly.
Who was head of Hewlett-Packard and didn't do too well there. And in honor of her, she was given and she adopted a cat named Golden Parachute. So that's the cat, the house cat of Carly Fiorina. Who are we missing?
It's amazing. She actually blew it at Hewlett-Packard.
Yeah.
A number of the employees that were involved in that unfortunate fall credit her with the whole fiasco. And she is out there running for president as if she doesn't have an albatross hanging around her neck.
It's sort of like Donald Trump's notion of being able to save America from the economic crisis, the deficit that we have, the national debt. And Donald Trump, who through some of his companies has declared bankruptcy quite a few times. Quite a few of his major corporate names have declared bankruptcy at the casinos down in Atlantic City. And he's declared bankruptcy quite a few times. That might be part of his strategy for bailing us out. He'll just have America declare bankruptcy. and slough off the money it owes to the Chinese and all the other countries that are holding treasury bills. And
sure, the Chinese are going to be surprised when he pulls something like that.
Speaking of bills, there's a fellow on Hillary's team named Bill. And Bill Clinton, who we know was president of the United States. He was governor of Arkansas, became president. Oh, before we go on to Bill Clinton, we've got to take a step backwards to another candidate that's still in for the Republicans.
Another one? I thought we covered them all. There's another one?
John Kasich.
Oh,
John
the governor.
Kasich, governor of Ohio.
Right.
One of those guys that understands that he's probably not quite lunatic enough to have a chance with today's modern Republican voters. And it reflects in his house cat's name is Too Moderate to Win.
Interesting.
The number 2, Too Moderate to Win, which sounds like it'd be a good name for a middle-aged white rapper.
Too moderate to win.
You get to have Too Moderate to Win and Tupac team up and do some rapola for some cashola. It could maybe finance his campaign a little further that way. So, okay, Bill Clinton. We all know who Bill Clinton is. He's the former president of the United States, the man that that wants to become the first dude in the White House. The first, is that what they call it? Instead of, well, a wife would be first lady.
Well, you'd be first, first lady, first gentleman?
First gentleman.
First gentleman?
First gentleman, first dude, first guy with roving hands. Hold on, wait a second. Okay, I got to figure out which phone it's on. Oh, it's not on the micro Inky Dinky phone, it's on the Inky Dinky phone. Hello, Basil BuddhaCat presents. Huh, it's Bill Clinton.
Bill.
And I know it's Bill Clinton. He's not talking, but I know it's him because I hear someone that's blowing on the saxophone. Oh, saxophone.
Right.
Bill Clinton played the saxophone as part of his. That was part of his gig when he was running for president. He was cool. He could play the saxophone. He play a little jazz. So
he sort of had quite a charismatic quality to him. Unfortunately, Hillary doesn't really carry the same kind of music that he did.
No, but Basil's telling me that he actually likes Hillary Clinton better than Bill Clinton.
He likes Hillary better than
Bill Clinton because Bill Clinton, Basil, knowing the cats have multiple partners through their life, and yet Basil seems to be stuck on the notion of monogamy, and he gives Clinton a little negative credit for the shenanigans that went on when he was in the White House, the under the desk thing, the cigar thing, the blue dress thing, all that kind of stuff. Yep. And again, he stopped for a second and he said, "Hello," but then he's back playing the saxophone. Or maybe
a saxophone. You mean a saxophone?
Right. Yeah. Or maybe he's calling out to some women to blow on his saxophone. Okay. Okay. Now, Bill Clinton hasn't been real helpful to Hillary Clinton in the past. He in 2008, when she was the presumed candidate for the Democratic Party, before a fellow by the name of Barack Obama came along, senator from Illinois, that became the candidate. Bill Clinton, after Barack Obama won the South Carolina primary, he said, well, even Jesse Jackson won South Carolina. And that was, I don't know if you could call that a racist remark, but it certainly was in very bad taste.
Yeah,
and very disrespectful of the people of South Carolina.
This is Bill Clinton?
He said that, yeah.
It's amazing that he would make such a faux pas.
Yeah.
But he did.
But maybe this year he can do a little switch on that, and after Bernie carries New Hampshire by a pretty fair amount on Tuesday, maybe Bill can say, well, even Hillary Clinton won New Hampshire, which she did in 2008. So maybe he can switch over from South Carolina to New Hampshire and put his foot in his mouth. Oh, Chelsea Clinton the other day on camera, she referred to, when discussing Bernie Sanders, referred to him as President Sanders.
President Sanders.
She did, yeah.
She did.
Then afterwards, she realized, obviously, that she, that she had made a gaffe, but it was cute while it lasted. So they're out there. Chelsea and Bill Clinton are out there doing their darndest to help mom and wife out on the campaign trail.
I don't know. She's becoming more and more scary to me.
Now, quick note, because okay, I always have to quote him first before I go ahead and say it. He said, hold that thought. Maybe we get the water account. He said, remember to mention we've got the director from Progressive Soup, Roberto Perez, in the studio, taking care of the studio today and directing this show and giving us all kinds of great ideas. But we also have our audio man is Tweety. Tweety is our audio man, and that's Basil's normal audio
Is he working with Roberto right now?
Yeah, he's doing the audio.
Well, the two of them probably get along pretty well.
Probably. And Snarky is our camera dog, and Snarky's back there behind the camera.
Cats and dogs and Roberto.
Well, I'll tell you.
He's got quite a crew there.
And if you see the closing credits, you'll notice that Snarky is, well, I can't say it on camera, but he's a certain particular type of dog. So I can't say anything more about that. But,
well, I think we're still on the air, so they're probably not really feuding too badly.
No. But, okay, and again, he wants me to mention on YouTube, you can find Basil BuddhaCat on YouTube if you go to Kristin40, Kristin 40, where you'll find all of Basil's shows and all the Progressive Soup shows. And you can also find Basil's shows on Basil's Facebook page, which, of course, is Basil BuddhaCat. So shout out to all those places. Now, one day, he's thinking forward. He's forward thinking. One day, he's going to be out there on Catbook, but that won't be till cats take over Facebook. So that's something to consider for the future.
It's just a matter of time.
Just a matter of time.
Unless the Homo sapiens can finally get their act together, they may lose it to the cats.
You know, if you've been in a household with a cat, you know the cat.
Planet of the Cats.
The cat.
Planet of the Cats. Maybe that, it sounds like
cats run their household.
What do you got here? I just noticed something.
Oh yeah.
What is this?
Basil brought us a book. Look at that.
Look at it.
It's the complete book of Wall Street ethics, and
whoa,
by J.L. Walker. And Basil pulled this out of the bookshelf earlier today. We've had this for a number of years. And now the complete book of Wall Street ethics, whoops, not in front of his face. If you'll notice, it has all blank pages. So that'll tell you a little bit of something about Wall Street ethics, in that the entire set of ethics can be capsulized in about 150 blank pages.
Probably one word they could have written in there.
What's that?
Greed.
Yeah.
The philosophy of greed.
And that'll be all of the Republican candidates who are all very much beholden to corporate entities and to the people that they groveled before. The Koch brothers and some other folks that are wealthy contributors that they all got a chance to kneel in front of early in the campaign season, trying to win favor with them. But they're beholden to Wall Street also.
Oh, yeah. And you know, Ted Cruz is one of them. You know, they grovel for money. They have to have it. They're out there trying to beat one another.
They believe in their heart of hearts that somehow advertising sways people. And I'm not sure if that's really accurate. I mean, you know, we need to get the money out of politics.
Boils down
because it looks bad.
Boils down to one thing. Boils down to whether or not, okay, we have a vibrant, enlightened electorate.
Yeah.
If we don't have a vibrant, enlightened electorate, the whole thing is going to go to those with the big money. It stands to reason.
And you know what? Basil's complaining again because
there he is.
This guy's scratchy. I tell you, every show he tries to sneak in. He's always trying to monopolize the conversation as well as he can. But this guy, people were trying to figure out. I was trying to figure out and try to determine how in the world, what kind of person gravitates to Donald Trump.
He's got something, and it's admirable. It is admirable. I don't agree with what he says.
We're talking stylistically?
I'm talking about the fact that he was able to portray himself as an outsider. I think that the voters, the political, not a corporate outsider, but at least a political outsider, and I think that's rang true with a lot of Republicans, and that's one of the qualities I like in him. And then I see also that same quality in Bernie Sanders. He's seen as a political outsider, and he's also a corporate outsider.
Yeah.
But as we excuse me, Basil. But before the show, we spoke about the possibility the far-out possibility of an election involving your man as an independent, Donald Trump.
Oh, Donald Trump as an independent, yeah.
And Bernie Sanders, okay, running as a progressive, let's say, and Hillary running, and we'd have a choice of 4. We'd have a true election. That would be one interesting and amazing development if it could occur.
It's been a long time since America. Well, there have been cases. Ross Perot helped Bill Clinton into the White House in 1992.
The problem. That's the problem. It has to be more than 3
right.
because one of them is going to stack the deck against the other. If you just have Bernie running as an independent against Hillary, that would give the Republican candidate an edge. But if a Republican like Trump was running against Cruz and a Democrat like Sanders was running against Hillary, hey, then the American electorate. Electrical. It's just, it's electrifying.
The electorate would be electrified.
It is electrifying to think that this possibility could arise. And it all depends on whether or not Trump and Sanders can look at each other and say, listen, we've been a couple of outsiders. We have an opportunity to make a difference. Let's get in this race. It would throw the establishment into a frenzy. It would turn everything upside down.
It certainly would be interesting. Well, I'm gonna send the Donald, or we call him Old Dump Rant, which are the letters in Donald Trump, back behind Basil. Basil, I'll try to keep him from tickling the back of your head. So we'll see what we can do about that. So. Okay, we were talking about
we're talking about the Republicans.
Yeah, but we were talking more importantly. Basil says more importantly we need to. Said
climate change.
Says nope.
What?
Most importantly, we need to talk about corporate sponsorship of his show.
Corporate sponsorship of his show.
And the cha-ching.
Well, he already blew it with the paw.
And the cha-ching.
He kept blowing it with every one of his. What is that? You got carrots there?
Well, we're working our way back in slowly. We got. Kristen has a very special. Carrot juice concoction, and the carrot company took back their juicer, so we lost that. But suffice it to say that among what's in the carrot juice that she makes are carrots, apples. You'll have to contact her to figure out. Maybe you can get the recipe from her. But
carrots are good for dogs. I don't know. Carrots okay for cats?
I don't know.
I gotta find
Basil only cares about getting some corporate sponsors.
Oh, that's right.
Hold on.
Whoa.
Okay, that was our able director Roberto Perez giving us some thoughts on finishing up the show because we're pretty close. But
we're squeezing at the little pig there. What's the significance of that?
Well, he's been hanging around Basil's show for a couple of years now, and actually after they are up in the hammock up there behind camera number 2.
Yeah.
Basil's in the home studio has a hammock up in the corner, and and in that hammock you find. Some interesting characters. You find Bill Murray. Who's a good friend of Basil. Actually, we communicate. We have the piano in the home studio, and we communicate with people from the hereafter, people that have passed on.
Wait a minute, Bill Murray's still with us.
Yeah, but there are people in the hereafter that we communicate with.
Oh, okay.
And we took Bill Murray's idea. Well, Bill Murray graciously gave us back our idea that we gave to him in Ghostbusters. Oh. And we tinkled the top 2 keys of the piano, like Bill did in Ghostbusters, and said, they hate it when I do this. Ooh. Speaking about the ghosts. But so Bill's been hanging around up in the hammock, and also once Stephen Colbert finished up the Colbert Report, he spent the entire summer. He took over for David Letterman on late night.
Right.
But he spent the entire summer taping himself 24/7 nonstop for about 3-4 months in a row. So apparently he's got enough shows cached away for Late Show with Late Show with Stephen Colbert to last about 4 or 5 years.
Wow.
And they did a show on a cable television outlet in the Midwest, which is up on YouTube, where he actually did an interview with the performer Eminem.
Oh yeah, the rap singer, right? Is he a rap singer or hip hop? He's
We'll call it. I don't know if we'll call it singing, but we'll call it rap.
Yeah.
But okay. Basil says, don't forget that we're still doing a little payback on the Hershey's candy company and the Hershey's Kisses by giving them this is a little hello from us, and it's not a giant Hershey's Kiss, by the way. So and also up in the hammock, I don't want to let him go unmentioned, is Drew Carey.
Drew Carey, yes. Comedian, very good comedian.
Comedian.
Is he still with us?
He's on The Price is Right, I think. I think he's on one of the daytime.
I haven't seen him in ages.
Daytime shows. He's had a TV show of his own on television. See, he lost a lot of weight.
Really?
Yeah,
I haven't seen him since.
Quite a bit. And so Basil calls him, well, the initials, the acronym that he gives him is LFFF. And I can't go into what that's an acronym for. But if you watch the show, you'll probably see
it's probably not something.
And you'll probably see that on the show tonight at 10 o'clock, and probably on the more religious toned Sunday broadcast at 11 a.m., which also will be our day of the big game preview of the Superb Owl. Did I say that right? Okay, yeah, he says yeah. Okay, he's not going to fire me quite yet, but wait. You're not sending this dude out to. You can't fire me either. I'm a permanent fixture. Neither one of you can fire me. And besides, this iPaw can be very easily hidden away, because as I mentioned earlier, the iPaw, as I guess other people call it iPad, but the iPaw has an English to cat translator, and I can actually translate the last 45 minutes of the show thusly. That's it.
That's it.
That's the whole. Cats. You'll notice on the show that when cats talk, when Basil talks, if he goes on and on and on and on, or if he goes really quick with just a real quick meow. When I translate for him, it generally goes like it could go as long as 10 minutes if I let it. but he can fit a lot into a little. But conversely, if he goes on for about 20 seconds with generally it translates out to something like, yeah. So it works backwards. I don't know. The language is mysterious to me still, even though I can speak it.
But, well, I have to give you credit. I mean, your insight into this whole cat phenomenon is beyond understanding.
And Basil is, in fact, the cat of all cats. And so you want to spend any time on the football game? I mean, or should I just leave it at mentioning that you're on tonight, Friday night, at 10 p.m. after we're on from 7 to 8 with our special. And this is also, he wanted me to note that we've done one Basil-Athon. A couple of years ago, we did a Basil-Athon. Instead of a telethon, we did a Basil-Athon.
Well, of course, a Basil-Athon.
Yeah, and we did about, I think we got up to Basil-Athon hour number 280 or something like that. Of course, we didn't show all 280 hours of it, so this is hour one of this year's Basil-Athon, and who are we raising money for this time around? Okay, Basil said, said him, Basil.
Oh, raising money.
He's raising money to some cha-ching, some cashola to keep the show going. So, we haven't really heard much.
You got a can of food there, don't you?
Oh,
What?
oh, yeah. We're striking out. We're looking for another corporate sponsor, and StarKist. We're going to change it over from "Tell them Charlie sent you" to "Tell them Basil sent you."
What's this say? Is it made in China?
It says it's got. Let's see what it wants. It says it has omega-3s.
Oh, okay.
It has omega-3s in it, which I guess are probably 3 times as good as omega-1s.
Right.
I imagine. So StarKist Tuna. We're looking for some sponsorship. Basil needs a little cha-ching, so give us some thought. Also, certified by the American Heart Association.
That helps.
Meets criteria for heart-healthy food. And I wonder how much money they got from the American Heart Association to get on the can. Because the American Heart Association, they got to spend a little cha-ching to get a little cha-ching back too. So, that, we got the carrots, we got the...
Wow.
Oh, we're also going for the beer. We're going for
beer?
We're going for Budweiser. We've been reaching out to Budweiser for their account ever since, the National Football League had a little problem with some of their players beating up their wives, beating up their kids, beating up on each other.
Yeah, this is an unfortunate situation. I mean, if they beat each other up...
Doing all kinds of beating.
During the game, they beat each other up during the game. I guess sometimes they forget. They don't realize they're at home now.
So when they get... So there's been a little violence involved in the National Football League, which didn't go over well with the Anheuser-Busch company, which isn't even in America anymore. I think it's a European company that owns them anyway.
Really?
But
it used to be American.
French conglomerate that bought Anheuser-Busch. We're Basil's. Wait a second. I don't see. Where's the? Where's the? Oh, there it is. Okay. We got the line in the water, trying to get the Anheuser-Busch account away from the NFL, because Basil is certainly far less. There's far less violence. No, probably a little more snarkiness that you'll find in professional football, but far less violence. That's the point. And I guess Walter exceeded her 40-second work week, and Basil doesn't want to pay her any overtime. So, is there anything I should say, Roberto, before we go off the air?
Say goodnight, David.
Okay, it's been Basil BuddhaCat Presents, our beginning of our 2016 Basil-Athon. Thank you for joining us, and we shall see you Friday night with our Super Bowl Superb Owl broadcast, and then Sunday morning, 11 a.m. with part 2, the day of the big game. Thank you, Joe, for joining us.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure being on your show.
They say they'd rob your grandma blind on Wall Street, fritter her away her Medicare on Wall Street. And Pharma Oil and their pet fox don't care if she lives in a box, so long as they wear platinum jocks on Wall Street, on Wall Street.